Welcome to the Taide Argelia Show, a podcast for fashion creatives and lovers of unique clothing. We share the behind-the-scenes do's and don'ts of creating beautiful garments to have you feel good in what you wear. I'm your host, Taide Argelia.
Hello, and welcome everyone to episode number 2 of the Taide Argelia Show. I'm your co-host, Jeremy Wolf, and I'm joined by your host, Taide Argelia. Taide,
hello. Good morning or good afternoon or whatever the time is, wherever you're watching this. But welcome to the Taide Argelia Show. I am so happy to be here with you. How are you, Jeremy?
I'm wonderful. You see, I got my hat here, my fashionable hat in honor of our show today. I told you I'm going to have some fun with this, and I'm going to make it exciting for us here. So, yeah, I'm doing great. Always a pleasure seeing you and being in your company, and I'm excited to get into this today. So, people often go around, they go out shopping, and they see all these clothes out there in the store. They see clothes everywhere, and don't really have an understanding about behind the scenes, like what goes into all of this, the design process, and how all of that really affects the bottom line, right? Pricing. So
yes,
I was hoping we could kind of get a look under the hood, if you will, and kind of get inside your mind and kind of go into the whole creative process and pricing and learn a little bit more about that. So I wanted to ask you, from a design perspective, right? How do you come up with ideas for your design? Like, what inspires you?
So how a designer or creative person comes up with some ideas, definitely we start doing research. We look through magazines, we look at what the current fashion runway shows are showing, because when you look at these runway shows, a lot of times the different designers, they all kind of seem to have something in common, whether it be the color scheme for the season, the textures of fabrics, even lengths of garments, even the width. Like right now, the main thing, what I'm seeing is that the skinny jeans are not necessarily the in thing right now. It is those wider legs, flowier. And I think it also, the issue or some of the consideration is what's going on in the world. COVID, a lot of people, we stayed home, we ate a little bit more than we should have, we gained a few more pounds. So those skinny jeans, they're last season. So now we're doing more of flowy, looser. Even as in shoes, we are doing flats instead of heels. So those are all the things that we were considering. What are other designers doing? What's going on in the world? And also, what is the occasion that you need your garment for? So those are the things you do when you're doing your research towards designing something.
It's interesting. I'm curious, the truly revolutionary designs, the ones that seemingly come out of left field, right? Mm-hmm. Like a totally new fashion trend. Is that what it is? Is it just somebody that came up with a crazy concept that stuck? Or is it more of like a natural evolution of the trends that are going on, like you were just speaking about? Or do people or is it a combination of both? How does that typically work?
Okay, so this is going to be my personal opinion on this. The crazy things that are coming out there is just someone being creative, because the thing is, nobody is walking around with a twin size mattress on their back. Have you seen any of those online?
Well, that's an actual thing.
Huh?
That's a thing.
Yeah. Well, yeah. There's some crazy things that are coming down the runway, and I think that is just designer liberty in just doing crazy things. Maybe that also has to do with the situation that we just came out of, the lockdown with COVID. A lot of people were just on their mattress all day, all night. So here you have a
Let's just
designer
wear
say,
it.
hey, I'm going to send somebody down the runway with a backpack that has a mattress on their back. So it's kind of this uh, funny, having a sense of humor type running down the mattress, because everything was so serious during COVID, or there were issues of depression going on and so on. So maybe some designers would say, hey, let's bring some laughter into this. What we saw as something that might have caused some higher levels of depression in some people, let's bring some laughter and slowly bring back some creativities and divert from just the lockdown idea. So that's one of the ideas that I think maybe some designers are incorporating into their design process. Now, for all the others, myself included, because hey, creativity and thinking outside the box is what, as a designer, you should do. Now, for the customer, the majority of customers, to my knowledge, I haven't seen yet today, no one walking around with a mattress on their back. So you want to think of design as what is used for real in real life. So the purpose of the garment has to be a usable design.
It has to be practical
It
in
has
some
to be
meaningful way.
practical.
Yeah,
Yes.
that
So
makes
that's the
sense.
majority of what will be in the mass produced designs in the department stores and so on. Because the other thing too, even from watching Shark Tank, I'm gonna plug in some Shark Tank. One of the things that they always say is the space to display. And again, back to that design with the mattress, that will take up too much display space. So you want something that is practical, that the majority of people will wear and they feel confident. So that is the main purpose of designing. Are you going to make your user feel confident, beautiful, and just feel great in what they're wearing?
So speaking of display,
Yes.
what's the difference between a dress form
Mm-hmm.
and a mannequin?
Very good question. So as a designers, we use what is called a dress form, and it is actually a form in the form of a body, but it
Okay.
has a kind of cushioning, so that when you're draping is creating a pattern out of 3D. So the form of the body, and you could pin onto that dress form. Whereas in a mannequin is more for display. It's what you see in department store windows and so on. So with a dress form, you could actually use needles and pin to hold and shape that design that you're creating. And a mannequin is for the final product to display what you have created.
Interesting. So I'm assuming do you make your own patterns? Can you kind of explain a bit about the pattern making process? Again, this is a
Sure.
lot of behind the scenes stuff that people don't really know or think about.
I could just show you right here. This here is a dress form. So like I said, we have the pins you could actually pin and hold down, and we use what is called muslin. So the muslin is the rawest form. Muslin, not muslim.
Yeah, muslin.
I remember in college it's like, no, it's not muslim, it's muslin, I-N. And it's kind of a raw, the more natural and raw cotton, just no dyes or anything. And we use this to start designing and creating on the dress form itself.
Okay, and
So
for anybody, just aside, for anybody who's not actually watching, that might only be listening to this, what Taide has up here is this dress form. It looks like kind of a mannequin, but without the arm. It's just a body with no head on there. It's just a place, I guess, to start positioning the fabric on top of it to get a little bit of form. To see what it looks like.
It allows you to Um, like each dress form comes in a particular size, and when designing, a lot of designers choose a sample size to start their designs. So for example, they might start with a size 4, or if you're a plus size designer, you might have a custom dress form that might be your sample size could be a size 16. And every new design that you create will start from that sample size of size 16. Now, as I said before, we use muslin, which is a very raw, non-dyed cotton fabric that we will start being creative on that dress form and create a pattern, a 3D pattern of whatever that design that you're kind of working through. And the great thing about the dress form is it gives you that realness of how it really will look on a real body. Then after you do that, you're going to transfer that 3D muslin cloth uh, pattern to paper, because you want to kind of make sure that pattern, all the little mistakes, like I said before, something about one of my pattern making teachers, you want to kind of eliminate those little mistakes at 1/8 of an inch, 1/16 of an
'Cause
inch, or
they get
whatever.
exacerbated later on down the
Exactly. So
road.
you
Yeah.
want to make sure that your pattern is well put together, whatever, so that the front panel will match the back panel, because that's the side, the front and the back will be
Mm.
sewn together. You want to make sure that they have the same measurement. You are using all kinds of tools like a tape measure. You will be using, for example, oops, here is an L-shaped ruler. Here is a skirt ruler or a hip ruler. So there are so many different tools necessary in creating a pattern. And from there, the next step is you have to actually create a sample. And the first sample will be out of muslin before
Is
you
that is
actually.
that stand? I'm sorry to cut you off. Is that standard in the design industry to use this material muslin for
Yes.
all? That's the process basically, right?
Yes, that
Okay.
is the process, because, and that's a very good question. And the reason for doing that is because a lot of times the designers are choosing high-end luxury fabric, and you don't want to make all your mistakes on great fabric that might be $100 a yard, $95, 200, whatever the price for that fabric. So you want to make your mistakes on muslin
Mhm.
first. You
That
will
makes
do
sense.
several samples on muslin first. You will also have what is called a sample, a fit model. Um, I believe, yeah, a fit model or a sample model. And that person will be the size, as close as possible to your sample muslin. That's, like I said, if you're designing for plus size, you will have a 16. You use a 16 dress form. You will try to find a fit model that is a size 16, that you could actually go ahead and try that sample on that real person.
I think I would be a
Because,
good fit model.
I'm sorry.
I think I would be a good fit model.
Oh, hey, why
I,
not? For
everything fits me very.
menswear.
Or my wife always tells me, she's like, everything fits you so well. It just lays on you so nicely. I said, so I
There you
volunteer
go.
myself for
You
fit
should
model
consider
services.
that. That could be a little side
A
gig.
little side
Hey,
hustle.
a little side hustle. So after we do that, then if we like what we see in the fit of the muslin sample on the fit model, then we will attempt at the real fabric,
Ah,
and you will create that same pattern, that same design on the real fabric, because uh, muslin, as opposed to whatever choice of fabric you decide on, it might move differently. You breathe on it, it might twist differently. So you want to see that it's laying the right way, it's flowing the right way. There's so many different steps, right? So here, Have you ever been to a sample sale before, Jeremy?
I've
Do you know what that is?
never even heard of the term sample sale. So please enlighten me.
Ah, a lot of times in New York, I'm not sure here in Florida, but a lot of times in New York, you have these sample sales from different designers, big time designers. And the sample sale is where you get that designer's designs, high-end designs, but at a lower price. And the reason why you get it at a lower price is because those samples being sold at a sample sale are the many different samples that you made. Hey, I'm making this. Let me try it on to my fit model. You know what? I don't like how it fits on her hip. Let's recut it again. Okay, we recut it, we sold it. Let's make another one. Let's try the fit on the fit model again. I don't know. The shoulders are not fitting well, and so on. So there are minor imperfections or minor things that the designer did not like about. Did not like about the samples that were made for that collection. So they might just do some edits to that design, and those many samples that were made and did not make the cut are sold at a sample sale.
What's the typical? Obviously, it varies, but like when you say a sale, or is it like 50% off?
Sometimes
That kind of thing, like
it
that
could
much
be
of a discount, I
50%
imagine,
off,
right?
sometimes even lower.
Yeah,
It
right.
depends. It depends on how much of a I don't know how much of a change to that what ended up as the final checked off yes approved design, how much of a change between that first sample, that second, third, fourth to the final one has been made. So it really depends, and it really depends on the company of what percentage, what price they want to put to their samples that they're selling.
How are you choosing the different, once you get past the sample, or not the sample, once you get past the pattern and everything, once you start designing the actual garment, past the muslin,
Yep.
how are you choosing fabrics for designs? Could you kind of go through that a little bit?
I want to give you a compliment. Thank you for using the correct vocabulary, the muslin, and
I
I
do
saw
I
your
do what I
brain
can when
there.
I can.
Very good. Thank you. So the idea behind choosing the fabric, you want to see what is the purpose of that garment. You want to also see how you have in your mind how you want that garment to flow. So, for example, there are a lot of us ladies, we're very curvy more than others, and there certain fabric don't have enough stretch to go over. We might be a little bit smaller from the waist up, but then from the waist down, junk in the trunk a little bit more than usual. And having a fabric that has no stretch whatsoever crosswise, meaning side to side, it's going to restrict. So you want to see, first of all, who's the client that you're, if you're doing custom especially,
Yeah.
what the client looks like, her body. As designers, and this is, I always tell everybody, I'm always looking at your body, not for anything negative, but because I'm looking, okay, how can I best create something to really complement the shape that you're in. You don't have to be a particular shape. You have to just have the right tailor or designer to create you something beautiful. So if you're more endowed in the hips, you want to have something that's either cut on the bias, on the slant, meaning you place the pattern piece on the fabric in a slanted way, meaning the fabric has the bias, has the most stretch,
Okay.
or you purchase a fabric that has some type of lycra or some type of stretch crossway to better accommodate for the your shapes, your curves better. Now, if you're doing something flowy, you could get away with a fabric that doesn't have any stretch because the garment is not fitted to your body. It's not sticking to your body. It's just flowing. And now if you know that, let's say you're going on a beach vacation and you want to be walking on that beach and the wind blowing, you want to use like a nice chiffon or a nice soft flowy cotton that just gonna just give you that superwoman walking on the beach type of flow. So it really depends, again, going back. What is the purpose of the garment? What is it going to be used for? You're looking at the shape of the person that is going to wear that garment, because you want to have the garment complement your body shape, not asking anybody to lose or gain or whatever it is that is out there. No, what you have and what you come with is beautiful. All the garment is doing is complementing and enhancing what you already have, which is beautiful. You are beautiful.
Yeah, it's obviously there's a huge distinction between custom design like what you do and then the more mainstream commercial design. And
yes.
I think each of the topics we discussed today warrants their own discussion in and of himself. I mean, this is a lot to unpack here. So
yes.
Is there anything else before we wrap up? Is there anything else that you'd like to share today? Or did you want to end it here and then pick it up again on our next discussion?
Well, since we're talking about creating and making things, here in the Davie community, I will be starting a sewing class for beginners in October. That's going to be at the Davie Multi-Purpose Center here in Davie, and it starts in October.
Where's the Multi-Purpose Center in Davie?
Yeah, you.
Oh no,
I don't have the address right now.
I know already. Hold on, I know. There's a little thing.
I'm so sorry. But if you go to my website at taideargelia.com, that's TAIDEARGELIA.com, and go into shop and go into classes and services, you will see that the classes, the sewing classes are there. But the Davie Multi-Purpose.
Are you talking about the Davie Pine Island Park multi-purpose?
Yes,
in Bamford, right?
I got it. 3801 Pine Island Road. That's Davie, Florida. So that's 3801 Pine Island Road. I will be starting sewing classes in October, and also for anyone interested in modeling, walking classes, and posing. Hey, because if you're wearing these beautiful garments, you need to know how to strut and make sure that you're looking good in those garments, because confidence sells. Confidence is everything. The garment is going to look great on you, but you need to wear it with confidence.
No, I'll be there. I'll be there strutting down the runway.
Excuse me?
I'll be there strutting down the runway.
Practicing
my strut.
You are welcome. You are definitely welcome to come.
All right. Very good. Taide, always a pleasure. Nice seeing you again.
Likewise.
And to our listeners, thank you for tuning in, and we will look forward to seeing you on the next episode of the Taide Argelia podcast show. Have a great day.
Have a great day. Thanks for listening to the Taide Argelia show. Join our mailing list and shop the Taide Argelia capsule collection at taideargelia.com. That's TAIDEARGELIA.com. Or contact us at 347-370-1335. Taide Argelia, designs to make you feel good in what you wear.